Alright gang, Coach Chris here. I'm going to do a quick video on how to find and improve your Zwift ranking in Zwift. So if you're not familiar with ZwiftPower.com, it's a third-party website managed by Zwift, but you have to go and create a profile, and this is separate from Zwift. So you get your Zwift ID from Zwift, then you create a profile on ZwiftPower.com, and this aggregates all your race results. You can link it to Strava, you can analyze all your data. It's nice for figuring out your power profile because it just aggregates all your data for you. Now, race ranking is the number you'll see up here. It is based on your best 5 race results. So the lower the score, the better, kind of like golf. My race ranking, I spent the last month trying to figure out how to work this and improve this. And my race ranking right now is 165 points, and that ranks me 819th, I believe, in the world in Zwift. It used to be like 50,000th or more when I first started, but I quickly got this down in just really a week, and then kind of dialed it in a little bit further in a couple more weeks just by focusing on it. So taking the same systematic approach to how do you improve your performance, I've looked at how you can improve your ranking. So this ranking, by the way, you can see on your race results here. I just did the Tour of New York. Your race ranking result for each race is shown here. So if you improve your ranking, if you score under 600, which if you're a category D rider, most D riders won't get scores below 600 until they move up to category C. So it always helps to race stronger competition. But you'll see your race result for each race here, and then how much that has helped improve your top 5 average. And that top 5 average is for the last 90 days of racing. So if you haven't raced in 90 days, your score will probably not improve. It'll probably get worse. So you want to do at least, one race or more, ideally 5 races every 90 days to maintain a high race ranking. So how do you find good races? One thing I like to encourage people to do is find events that are of high quality. And there's a couple of specific things I look for. So if you go to ZwiftPower.com, click on events, or this main page will show up right away. And what I like to do is click on rankings. And when you click on rankings, you'll see it populates these numbers and colors over here. And what this is, and you can filter it further if you want. I'll usually filter it by race. I'll usually look at shorter distance events if I don't have a lot of time. I'll look about 7 days out. I might use key search terms if I want to look for a certain course or anything like that. But once I've done that, when you click on rankings here, this right here shows you how many people are registered in each division. So if I'm a category A rider, I'm in orange here, 14 people. And then this is the average ranking of the top 3 or top 5 riders in that division. So if I'm a D rider, I look at the yellow. If I'm an A rider, I look at the orange. And I have a score of 165. So for me to improve my ranking, I need to race people who are ranked higher than me. So I could race here. This race has the top riders averaging 147, but there's only 11 people in that race. Ideally, I recommend races that have at least 20 or more people, ideally 100 or more. So sometimes I'll just keep scrolling through until I can find a nice big event. If there's this is even better. If you can find a division of everybody, like a big FONDO event that has everybody in one division, you'll sometimes see that as your best opportunity to improve your score. And you can really dig into the numbers. Down here, I can see a Christmas sprint here, 122. That would be a good event for me to potentially do, but there's only 9 people in it. So it's a little bit risky. But here on this one, I could click on this event and actually dig into it further. So one additional thing you can do is actually look at the ranking of riders who are registered. So if I click on ranking, it actually sorts it by their ranking, and I can see that I have a score of 165. So if I can beat one of these 2 guys, I can target them in the race and try to stay with them or stay ahead of them or try to outsprint them at the end, then I know I should be able to improve my ranking. So you can actually dig into the numbers in detail. So this is a really handy tool if you've never used it before to kind of find events to target. I've ended up finding a whole bunch of races that I like, and you can actually save those searches you do. So these little buttons here I've created based on searches that I've saved. So if you hit rankings, you hit filter, hit race, hit short distance, hit 7 days, and type in maybe a search term, you can hit save link here and it'll save it as a little button that you can get to very, very quickly. So it's a really neat tool to use. After the race too, you can click on the race and actually look through the results. And you can see how much you've gained here. So if I was Nicholas here who finished in second, he gained 2 points on his ranking. One thing I actually like to do is hit columns here, go to ranking before, ranking for the event, and ranking before and gain, so you can see all 3 of these columns. And then here you can kind of see in more detail this Nicholas person. His ranking before the race was 199. His result was 224. But even though that 224 is higher than his ranking before the event, he must have had a race that skewed that number, that average number higher. And so once that was replaced with this new score, that actually did help him improve a little bit. But generally, you'll only see your number improve or improve a lot if your current result in that race is lower than your top 5 average here. But this is how you can see your gain, your result, and your before. So take a look at that. Use that search feature. Again, it's usually only effective about 24 to 48 hours before an event, because the rankings sometimes will not populate for certain events if there aren't enough people signed up yet. So usually it's something you do the day of or the day before, just to look in advance and try to find a good race to target. Enjoy.